We are back to give our thoughts on the title and just the overall theme of the battle for Azeroth. It's all been announced, but Sage and I have not given our reactions or thoughts to the expansion title and the idea of the expansion ourselves yet. So we're going to talk about the whole Horde versus Alliance thing.
Or Old Man Enzoth at it again.
And he would have gotten away with it too if it wasn't for the Horde, the Alliance, and their stupid dog.
So I'm Sage.
And I'm Rage.
And we're going to be talking about Battle for Azeroth.
So, my initial gut reaction to seeing everything announced was cool, but kind of leery. And what I mean by leery is in two different formats here, and Sage, I think you'll kind of agree with me, is that it almost seems like it's going to be a builder or a bridger expansion to continue on to the storyline of something bigger and badder yet out there.
Yeah, kinda. If the premise holds true, I fear it might just be filler.
And I really feel and hope that Blizzard has learned their lesson from purely filler expansions.
We like to see the story go forward. And the problem with Horde versus Alliance is it's just spinning the wheels. You know neither side can actually win, because guess what? You either alienate half your player base by saying, yep, it's Alliance only, all you Horde just kind of, you better reroll. Or it just kind of turns into, well, you know, blows were exchanged, but we're moving on now. War's not over, we're just put it off till the next expansion.
And so, as an expansion as a whole, it to me, it cannot afford to just grind the Horde versus Alliance wheel. Yes, we need to get back to our war. That's what Warcraft is about.
Oh yeah, we can't forget the war. And I certainly think making that an integral part of an expansion, not a bad idea. But making it the only part of an expansion, bad call, Blizzard.
If it is that way.
If it is, yeah.
Yeah, if it goes that route. My concern is that we have learned that filler expansions are bad, and I hope Blizzard has learned that. In that, when they announced Warlords of Draenor, none of us thought, oh yeah, we're gonna go to Draenor, and we'll get another Gul'dan, and he'll open a portal for Archimonde, and then the Legion will pour through, and we'll use that Gul'dan to go to the Tomb of Sargeras. It's like, no, nobody put all that together.
No, the general idea was, we'll fight time-traveling orcs in space.
Exactly. And as a filler expansion goes, the storytelling was... I'm just going to rag on it. If anybody can't tell by our other videos, I hate Warlords of Draenor.
I didn't play in Warlords, I'll be honest.
It was... The raids were awesome, but the story was garbage. The overall... It was a filler expansion to get us to Legion. And in my mind, I'm not even sure Blizzard was aware when they launched it that it was going to be a filler expansion. I think Legion was the... Oh god, we're bleeding subscribers. Do the biggest fan service expansion you can to get everybody back.
Like, let's just take the end of WoD. What happened to Gromosh? He was a big deal right at the start, you know, integral part. Then they're just like, kinda, sweep him under the rug. Forget about him.
Him and Ural standing on the stairs like, oh, we totally tried to kill each other. It's cool now. Dreader is free. It was bad storytelling. And my hope is that Battle for Azeroth is not a filler expansion.
Nobody likes to be spinning their wheels. Let's just be honest.
No. And so you gotta keep moving forward, and you can't just end with one faction winning or the other. Otherwise, you know, the fan base doesn't work. My other fear with the Battle for Azeroth is... I have to sigh before I say. My other fear for it is that it will spin the wheel for 3/4 of the expansion and then get to the... And this sounds horrible because a lot of our predictions are along this line. Get to the... Oh, it's the Void Lords and the Old Gods. Surprise! It's just like, that's not a surprise.
Yeah, we go from Battle to Azeroth to, you know, Attack of the Old Gods, Part 2, Episode 5.
Exactly. So, in which case, that becomes very predictable. And it sounds like I'm being contradictory to a lot of our theory crafting on our channel, because we love Old Gods here. We really do. But it becomes predictable and like, oh, look at that. They're here. It's Old Man Enzoth, and he's been up to no good. And so, as we've been talking here about our reactions to it, our hopes are that it's not filler. Our hopes is that it does split half and half, but that there's some sort of curveball thrown in there that we couldn't see coming.
Yeah. We're hoping the battle for Azeroth is more a battle for Azeroth rather than a battle against each other.
Yep.
You know, we're fighting to save Azeroth, not fighting to take over Azeroth.
Exactly. And speaking of old gods, to sound like the Starks in the Game of Thrones, Sage's nice battle cry is the old gods are coming, and the Starks say winter is coming. And it's not a literal winter, but the White Walkers. And so Sage and I are always like, old gods, old god, old god, because they're coming. The Legion's been dealt with. You have to deal with the old gods and the Void Lords. It's the only place to go. So as predictable as it is, that is the direction with all the Chronicle rewrites and the lore fixed and everything else like that now. That's the direction it has to go.
I mean, let's just look at it like this. We already have a few tips in there that the new expansion is going to have old god related content. First of all, first raid already announced is a containment facility of the Titan.
Mm-hmm. And if you look at this clip that I'm going to be rewinding and playing forward and backward here for a little bit while we talk about these hints, it is blood that has corrupted the swamp, and that blood is literally the same graphical blood as the Animus in the raid, the Throne of Thunder. And the Animus is old god blood in that raid. And it brings things to life, like, you know, all those robots and that whole boss fight that you have to do. And not only that, I'm gonna shove up a map on the screen here now, two different maps. This first map here is the Black Empire. And it shows where each old god reigned before the Well of Eternity exploded. And you can see that Yasharaz's area cuts off right where Pandaria is, but Zandalar, if we look at this map next, is located in the same area as Yasharaz's control. And so, is it a coincidence that the same Animus blood graphic that's used in the Throne of Thunder raid is also used here in this new swamp of Nazrim? I don't think so. And then containment facility, yeah, maybe not an old god itself is causing havoc there, but this Animus, the blood of Yasharaz, or maybe some other old god, is.
Well, and think about this. In Mists of Pandaria, we dealt with what was left of Yasharaj after he was in the world. Mm-hmm. But what happened to all of his lieutenants, his minions? I don't think we've ever touched on them besides, you know, a few in Mists of Pandaria.
Mm-hmm.
But none of the big hitters.
No. And again, Zandalar is located directly in Yasharaz's empire before the Sundering happened. The next little clip that we want to bring up here and play forward and backward a couple times to look at is these eyeballs and tentacles.
Yeah, they're popping out of the ground. And what is basically the trademark of Old God anything?
Tentacles and eyeballs.
That's kind of their bread and butter right there.
Exactly. You have them when you fight Yogg Saron up in Uldar. You have them in the Cthulhu fight in the same form.
Il'gynoth, who we've talked about time and again.
When you fight Cho'Gall, there's these eyeballs and tentacles going on in that fight, making you madness. And Cho'Gall's the servant of the old gods. And so here they are again, and yet they are the color of the Emerald Nightmare. They're red and black, which again, tentacles and eyeballs when you fight Il'gynoth. Something is going on here, and anytime we see these types of tentacles and eyeballs, it's usually associated with old gods in some format, just like the Emerald Nightmare is. So this clip shows us something's going on to reflect old god activity in a sense, or at least we can speculate that positively. And then this next clip that I'm going to shove up here is when the trailer was announced, the in-game trailer, not the cinematic, and it says new dungeons and raids, and then it shows you what could be a dungeon or a raid, and we sweep up these stairs and you see this purple ethereal looking arcane kind of empowered spider crawling down the side. The stairs collapse, you get to the top, and you got a bug, and it's a big bug,
An arachnid even.
a Nerubian style body, which doesn't make any sense because, as I said, the maps overlap from before in this area of Zandalar being in Yasharaz's kingdom. But Nerubians serve and live in Yogg-Saron's area of the Black Empire. So who are these bugs? They're not Klaxi, which is normally in Yasharaz's area, and in Pandaria, which would be right below Zandalar on this old map before the Sundering. So who are these bugs? Who do they serve? The Klaxi serve Yasharaz. They tell you, hey, if our gods ever come back, we're going to serve them again and kick your butt. And the
Karaji served Cthulhu.
Karaji served Cthulhu, and the Nerubians served Yogg-Saron, and then, Arthas in that stead. This bug is very similar to a Nerubian-style build. It's like the first boss in one of the Northrend dungeons, the Gatekeeper, whatever his name is. I'm going to flash a quick video of him up there as well. And so we have this similar style, and we know that bugs, unfortunately, it's so sad to say, bugs serve the old gods. Well, Sage in the Rage, there's bugs everywhere. Yeah, sentient bugs serve the old gods.
Yeah, it's... So far, every single bug race we've had has kind of been a servant of the old gods. It's fact.
And so what's going on here? Is this leftovers of Yasharaz's empire? What is this? There are hints at it. And like Sage and I said, hopefully this isn't filler, but also at the other inevitable, predictable end is you have to go to the old gods and you have to go to the Void Lords because the story has to move that direction because that's what Blizzard has printed in the Chronicles, and that's where it's going.
I mean, let's face it, it's a bit late to pull out of nowhere, oh yeah, here's this new big bad that no one's ever heard about.
Exactly.
You'd feel a bit sideswiped if that were the case.
I mean, that could be the sideswipe that's not predictable, that makes us go, oh, well, didn't see that coming, and part of me would be grateful for that. Part of me would be like, what?
Yeah, maybe the expansion ends, giant meteor hits Azeroth, and here's a new race from space.
Exactly. Overall, I'm excited about this expansion. I like the idea that we're going back to World of Warcraft is about Horde and Alliance fighting, but I'm in multiple other videos, I'm going to end this one with the same way, is I don't believe Battle for Azeroth is a single meaning word. You can make fun of Sage and I for waving the old god banner and saying the old gods are coming, but like the crazy man on the side of the street who holds up the sign that Armageddon is coming, eventually, the old gods are coming.
Yeah.
If you like... go ahead.
I was going to say, broken clock's right twice a day.
There you go. If you like this content, hit like and subscribe. Share with a friend. Thank you for all the support out there, for all our subscribers so far. Thank you so much for supporting this channel. We couldn't do anything without you guys.
We love you guys. Peace.